that it's time to turn in your badge because you're going to get somebody murdered or killed. You should always learn something every day.
That's life.
Absolutely.
Not just the job, it's life.
Absolutely.
Round 2. It keeps going downhill from here. So don't forget, hit that like, share, and that subscribe button, all that good stuff. And I'm going to get out of here. Soliaker, deuces.
I'm sorry about that. I had an officer call me with a question.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
like I said,
but I mean,
dialogue's great. I mean, it is. When I went down, I don't know if I told him. No, I didn't tell him. But he knows that I did law enforcement before. I did it for 10 years.
Okay. Where did you do that, if you don't mind?
I don't tell him. He knows already.
Oh, okay. So I mean, was it in Florida or was it out?
Florida.
Okay.
So basically, I did a remodel of my house, and my neighbor's wife worked at the city. He didn't like my remodel. He had his wife get to the people that needed to get the people to come in and bother constantly. Code enforcement in my backyard, taking pictures, searching. Finally told the chief for the neighbor that was videotaping us while we were doing a remodel, videotaping our kids. I said, I want to sign stalking charges. He says, no, you don't meet the requirement. He didn't threaten me. I said, read that statute. It doesn't say anything about threat. Aggravated does. And he says, no, we're not going to do it. I finally looked at him and said, kill him, he's going to kill me. Let me sign the charges and just be done. I'll sign the bottom of the charging affidavit. Finally, let me do it. Everything stopped. But in between then, I had officers following me. I had officers struck my house.
That's why you were a police officer?
This is after.
Oh.
That same city did a felony stop on me when I handed my police ID. They're just out of control.
Yeah, I say that doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right. I mean, I didn't. After I left is when I really would check things to make sure this is what happened to me. With code enforcement in my backyard, and I try to file a complaint. They're like, well, we can't. That's unfounded. We can't find that out. Yeah. And I said, well, why are they doing this? If they're doing this to someone that has a little bit of a backbone, like I do, I'm not afraid to stand up for my rights or yours or anybody's. If they're doing that, what are they going to do to someone that doesn't have the ability to? They're going to take advantage of it, like writing this tickets for the scooters that no one knows about. That's kind of the correlation. And I literally said to myself, like, I can't believe this happened. There's no way this is happening. So I went out and did it. Went to Melbourne, walked around, did some filming, talked about the motor thing because I rode motors.
Oh shit!
One of the sergeants comes up and says, I'm going to arrest you for a felony if you record me.
So let me ask you this.
He did. That's where that all started.
So, and I'm not aware of, I'm personally not aware of anybody that has written somebody a citation. I'm personally not. But if you found that information, what did you do with that information?
So I replied back to the city, told them about it, asked them to refund the people for their tickets that they did, and asked them to pull that message off.
Well, you know,
it wouldn't
be it wouldn't have. I don't think it was a municipal citation. It would have been a state citation. Okay.
So, and you can do that. You can ask the court to void it and issue refunds. I've done it before. Right. So anyway, I asked them to take it off the website. They did, and they took it off. So that was the mission on that one, to get that one. So.
Did they do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was good. It was worth it.
Okay. So there are people out there, and I'm not saying that you are one of them, but there are people that would do that, and then instead of contacting her, hey, there's this error, they just put it up on social media and go, look what they've done, and that doesn't necessarily solve anything. It just inflames things, right? Yeah. So that's what I was trying to make sure. But no, I appreciate that that's the way you handle that. If there was an issue,
I mean, the video that I said was, hey, I'm out here checking the scooters. I wanted to make sure that they're not doing this, but then it turned into that detainment because I was near the police department. And I think it was you that said, the climate today, what's going on with police department. I don't want, and I don't think you would want it for me to go out to my patrol car and have somebody throw a Molotov cocktail on my, and what are they probably going to do beforehand is possibly stake it out. So we got to check to see what's going on. Why is it's our department is not is kind of removed by logistics from most of the rest of the city. There's not a whole lot around us, right? There to do.
So it's odd to have somebody, and I wasn't out there for your instance, but I would say honestly, especially if it was in the evening hours, like you said, it's very odd to have somebody out there.
What happens in day and evening?
Well, day and evening, but if for somebody to be out there, what are they doing? Why are they out there? Is it because of it's something illegal?
I told the officer, I said I was just checking out the chairs, watching you guys come and go, and that's about it. I'm almost done. I'm out of here. And that was it. So I mean, it dispelled their belief if they had, but yeah, coming to that approach.
It's like 30,000.
I'm gonna step over here if you don't mind. I just want to get out of this heat. If you don't mind, it's warm. Yeah. So I don't mean to be encroaching on you. I'm just trying to share your shade here, my friend.
That's what I'm doing.
That's ultimately what it is. It's just, it's the 3 bad experiences, and then I'm like, let me come back.
Well, hopefully this is a good experience for you.
Except for him. I don't like him.
And he ain't dealing with you.
No,
If
but
you know,
he's behind the scenes, he's pulling information, probably contacting my department. And I find out when that happens. And like I said, from pulling it, David, the guy in Jacksonville, the guy was on the job for 20 years and he lost his pension because he was literally internet stalking. This setup usually run the suspender.
well, and
I mean, it's well deserved.
yeah, absolutely.
I use that example because I don't want him filling information and then you know, I know that.
He's on that. We want to run that numbers on that.
Yeah, and he's with the Fifth city attorney right now. Probably that's who he's talking to. I mean, that's the only guess I could think of. He's the city attorney or the chief or something like that. But no, the dialogue is great. I think we like it. The corporal had it yesterday, but
What's that?
Statute 790.25
For the what? For wire fishing.
it's the same statute. You can carry yours with you. Same exact.
Yeah, that's the problem.
790.253 the city of Leeds statute for a police officer carrying it.
Yep. No, but that's all. Just when you have one bad experience, then you have a second one, you have a third one. You kind of have to believe, you know, I don't want to get Stockholm syndrome when I come down here and
I agree.
feel like, oh yeah, you're great, but then I turn around and get whacked in the back. Not whacked in the back, but you know, him looking up and like, yeah, let's see if we can push some charges through him, just to see if we can run him through the ring or to see if we can do that. Because it's just an express right. It's just that you have the ability to go out there and protest. Well, you can't because your policy says you can't do protests and demonstrations.
Oh, not in uniform, but
But conduct unbecoming an officer is one of those catch-alls like careless driving. Just that's what they do. But no, it's when I'm segueing and sidetracking to this. I think it's a good dialogue, but it's only if the people at the top or the leaders are the one that are doing it. You know, when you're asking me if I have like-minded people at my work, we're like-minded people because we want to make money, we want to make goals, and we have one single mission to fulfill. Same thing with you guys. There's 4 or 5 different things that you have to do. Get home safe, go home safe. Speaking of this, matter of fact, on Sunday, the guy that got trespassed, the Florida Fish and Wildlife guy who has jurisdictions or some type of a level of hierarchy, he's over you guys. The state, city, state, county, city. He told the officers on scene that said they're okay to be doing what they're doing, and they still trespassed this weekend.
I don't want to talk about it because I was not there, so I would it'd be inappropriate. I'm going to adjust my weapon edge. Not that some people think that's me trying to, us trying to be aggressive.
No,
it's heavy.
not at all.
It's heavy and it holds on the hips.
Yeah, I just carry my wallet and my phone, and I'm
You're constantly pulling it off. Yeah.
my pants.
But like even
Yeah, people think this. Sometimes think we're being arrested. It's just a place.
It's just a rest.
Yeah.
In Sergeant Vision, what I'm seeing here is further attempt to make an identification.
No, it's just there's a virus going around, man.
That's what I'm seeing.
I don't know.
That's what I'm seeing. That's my 10 years of experience of what I would do, and when a chief or an administrator comes in and says, get this guy's information, I want to make sure I know who he is. None of us are on that classification of what the president classified as terrorists.
I've seen it where it's like masked. It gets no mask.
So that's what law enforcement are trying to do when we're out here with cameras now, trying to pull that. That's not it. But this guy is 100% trying to get an identification. He's got mine because he searched and hunted it. And I'm going to pull FDL records tonight. I'm going to send that public records request in and see if where it was ran at, who it was ran by, and what time it was ran.
Well, I don't think.
Let me ask you, just plain devil's advocate. All right. We're all out here. Everything is good. You do have officers out here because of a complaint of somebody having a firearm out here. Now,
go with you.
If
you don't do anything.
If we don't do anything and then he were to shoot and kill somebody, what would be the thing? People would say, why didn't police do something? Why didn't they make sure he wasn't a convicted felon, that he doesn't have a domestic violence injunction against him?
But you know that there's case law against that you can't just go up. I mean, you have Terry versus Ohio. That's the primary one. But there's another one where a convicted felon dropped his firearm in a taxi. And I know you always know that defense attorneys and the laws always work in favor for the criminal.
Absolutely. No, the laws are in favor of the citizens, and sometimes criminals do get off because of that, but it's constitutionally designed that way, so that way the state and the government doesn't have more power than it. Absolutely.
Real fast, what he did, he left his firearm in there.
Okay.
He fell out of his pocket or something. Careless, of course.
Or
So then,
your shirt having to ride up, you didn't get it.
yeah, just give me a second on this one. So he left it out there. Tag guy, or the cab guy called the police, got it. They demanded his ID and did it. They lost the case. He was a convicted felon. They couldn't put him away, but he lost it because they did not have probable cause to actually ask for that identification. There's no crime was being committed. Same thing if you say, if he's not a domestic violence injunction or a convicted felon, you have to go under the assumption that he's not first, and then once you have reasonable suspicion or probable cause, reasonable grounds for suspicion, supported by circumstance, sufficiently strong, or a cautious person, I'll go on to that he has the ability, that you have the ability to believe that he committed a crime. But if you go in before that, it's fruits of the poisonous tree, you lose everything. That's the way it is. That's what it is. But and most of the time, like even here, you know what? I talk about tent. There on the vehicles. His is below the AS1 line on that too as well. But that's the funny thing. Sorry, yeah, that's below. They'll claim it's undercover because it doesn't have stuff on there, and then it's exempt with the regular cars. But so thinking about that stuff, it's really strange that when I get into a room, when I go into a room and do negotiations with anybody, talk about something. This is negotiation. We're negotiating right now. I'm negotiating.
Oh, we're conversating. We're not neither one of us is trying to get a win on it.
You'll listen to me, and you'll listen to me and understand that you're not like all those other guys.
I'm hoping that we'll talk and we'll both learn something.
So what really occurs? What's that?
That's a good outlook.
Yeah, I hope so.
Everybody has something to teach somebody else if only people will
So I remember, we have an officer, he still works here. When I first started, I did a ride-along with him. He told me one thing I've taken with me and I've tried to pass on to every officer. It's the day that you believe that you have learned everything out here, that it's time to turn in your badge because you're going to get somebody hurt or killed. You should always learn something every day.
That's life.
Absolutely.
Not just the job, it's life.
Absolutely.
It's just a break road.
Yeah, exactly.
And the information business, really. I mean,
Actually, but the rails should be law. You stay on the rails, you're fine. But you deal with people, so you got to be ready for what it comes in.
whatever comes up.
So when I go into a room, I said I usually am the quietest one. I talked a lot today, but I'm usually the quietest one because the person that listens the most usually is the most intelligent one.
Absolutely.
They absorb it. So yeah, it's it. Just understanding rights. It's like I got detained for 45 minutes for holding a drone controller one time. And I have a FAA pilot's license, commercial pilot's license.
2 hours goes by.
And the guys, I was using it for charging my phone. So the guy held me there for 40 minutes or so, or 30 or 40 minutes. And I was just like, I said, first I said to him, I was like, you don't have any jurisdiction over me. He's like, of course I do. Because that's what I am. If I'm going to tell you straight up, if I don't want to talk to you, if I don't want you to be here, I'm going to flat out tell you, like, you don't have any jurisdiction over this. And he doesn't. You don't have jurisdiction over drones unless you have an ordinance. And he's like, well, of course, we enforce federal laws all the time. I'm like, name one federal law you enforce. He's like, guns at the school. I'm like, because there's a state law. And he held me there for 40 minutes while he's trying to find my flight plan when there's no drone in the air. It's just...
That's true. A lot of times police show up at the post office when it's federal property and they don't have an agreement. It's actual federal law that the police department locally with the post office has to make an agreement for the police to enforce
mutual aid
federal law.
agreement.
Yeah,
Right, mutual, right. Yeah. And a lot of times, and I didn't know this, I was up in Indiana, but I was at
Hey,
a
may I
post
take your
office.
seat? Are you going to be walking around? May I take your seat?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I appreciate that. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you. That's all the opportunity.
So the chief of police, this is in Auburn, Indiana, which is just north of Fort Wayne, Indiana, but I went there to
You can
file-
set it. I know you're recording, but I'm recording too. We're okay. Oh, okay. So I've got to record by policy, so I just said, oh, you don't have to be covert on it, and I don't
I went over there to file a complaint on the officers because up in Indiana during the quarantine, media was exempt, so we were allowed to go out and record everything, see how the government was operating. So I went over and I talked to the chief of police, and the chief says, yeah, we don't even have an agreement.
Send it my friend. She's wondering if I'm okay.
No problem.
We don't even have an agreement to enforce law on federal property, so we're not even really, supposed to be over there. So, but right in most post office, they have what's called a Poster 7, which is federal law, and it's just like a recap of federal law. But it says right on the bottom, enforcement, federal security officers, or if there's an agreement with the local community. then we can do that. So. But the law's full of very little intricacies that people will.
We have a Florida date book. It's about that big, and it doesn't cover most of anything.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. And I've been studying law for about 7 years, and I just got into it as a hobby. And people would say stuff online, and I'd want to check it out.
Sure. Online is full of a lot of really bad legal advice.
It's also full of a lot of really good legal advice.
Sure.
And sometimes people will say, if I start talking about law, they say, "Oh, well, you got that on YouTube." Well, Harvard and MIT put out classes on YouTube. You know what I mean? And those are the smartest guys in the world.
Sure.
Just laminated out here now.
And then about
nice.
a half
Yeah,
hour
you don't usually
later,
get that.
this one.
But so
That was back.
So dialogue. So ours is it. I mean, we did in there. I was just telling Corporal Nelson the other day. I said, our officer.
Yeah,
What are these guys
the
here for?
cool thing is I'm going to tell.
They're just looking at statutes.
Are they looking at the guys
Say, hey, check this out. I got yours. And
So
have
I was
to
telling
check
Corporal
this
Nelson, he's an officer. Is it Pierce or Prince? Prince.
out. The wind's name.
It's who he's training.
Oh, there was an officer, Prince
Prince,
being
that's-
trained.
Yeah, I was telling him, I was like, man, I was like, calling him in here. As soon as I said, this guy's pretty awesome. As soon as you get those, those IA papers in your mailbox, we had open mailbox. I said, you watch the repelling of those. I gotta stay away from you for a little bit until you get that squared away.
See my Bob Ross.
It sucks,
That is a horrible thing throughout the industry, and that does happen, and it's kind of one of those and part of it is you can't talk about IAs or anything like that. So officers don't want to get in that situation where they're accidentally talking about the elephant in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's an look. I have been in IAs, and I've also worked IAs, as an investigation thing, and it's
terrible.
they are I mean,
Both sides.
on both sides. Now I will tell you, if you get somebody that they have absolutely done wrong, not they made a mistake, but they've done wrong, then they don't need to be wearing a badge or a uniform, because we don't need that kind of exposure. We need people that are again, people are going to make mistakes.
My one IA that I had is a funny one. I always tell this story when I have is I was sitting with one of the deputies, and we were sitting there talking, running radar, and it was like 3:30 in the morning. There's no one on the road Monday night. And I picked up a radar signal at 97 miles an hour. The road goes straight, and then it bends like this, right? And it's a 40-mile-an-hour zone.
Yeah.
I picked this guy up around the corner. He was, the signal was bouncing back so fast. And there's a white Lexus, black windows, all darked out, blacked out. He went by us at 90 miles an hour. We went by him. It took us 2 miles to catch up to him. Finally got him stopped. And at that time, we did basically like a felony stuff. Drive without drawing down. Just drive. Get your hands out. Show your hands.
For some reason he's going that fast.
And he pulls out. It's a black male driver, black tinted windows. Never said any bad words. Never said get on the front. Never said this. But his dad works as a superintendent. At the school board.
Sorry, my boss, I can't recommend her.
Long story short, I went through an IA for about 6 months for that because he was superintendent, and I said the N-word, this and that, but it was all on video, and they ran me through the ringer.
Sometimes these are a wonderful thing. So I apologize.
No, sorry,
You called away.
Hey sir, how you doing?
Nope, not him.
Nice to meet you. I'm just coming over to conduct
It's
a
over him.
resource inspection, okay?